We continue now with our focus on gender-based violence. Police Minister Bheki Cele has also called on communities to play an active role in fighting gender-based violence, saying that it is a societal problem. However, many have taken to social media to talk about their experience when reporting incidents of GBV to the law. For example, police fail to register cases, saying there isn't enough evidence or they do not believe the victims. Well, with us now, we have got Major General Bafana, who is the head of the Family Violence, Child Protection and Sexual Offences Investigating Office at the SAPS. Major General, thanks for joining us. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning, Leanne. Good morning to your viewers out there.
Let's look at, we're talking to this increase during the lockdown of gender-based violence cases that are being reported. How is it looking like right now? I mean, what are the numbers like?
Well, we have seen a spike, more so as from the 1st of this month, going up. What is more threatening is the fact that we are not just talking about domestic or GBV cases. We are talking about gender-based violence, which is happening between closed doors, happening within the hands of those who have claimed to love the deceased.
You talk about the increase from the 1st of June. The correlation between the sale of alcohol and gender-based violence, that's what the President spoke to last night, that this needs to be relooked at. Do you find that there is evidence that, in fact, there is an increase when there is alcohol involved?
Well, one cannot rule out the element of substance abuse, but also one have to look at the underlying issues of domestic violence on its own, that nobody wakes up in the morning and decide to kill. But this has been building up as time goes on and comes to a point where now we see these things happening.
So the President also mentioning last night that more assistance had been given to police to deal with gender-based violence. Tell us a little bit about this. I mean, what is being given? Safe Homes money? Let's understand this.
Well, there has been an increase in terms of personnel. As you know, that policing is more dependent on manpower. So you need to have manpower to deal with the matters that are rising. But I want to mention as well that remember that we are becoming reactive instead of being proactive. When we see dockets being opened, is after the incident has already happened. We need to have also more focus on proactive measures in terms of partnership with civil society.
Civil society, however, say that when they approach the police and they say that, there is something you need to investigate, that they don't get a positive response from the police, that they are refusing to take action.
Well, our National Commissioner gave a straight instructions to all the police officers in the country that no women should be sent back when they come to report domestic violence. If such members are doing that in our own police precinct, those matters must be reported so the steps can be taken against those police officers.
So how do police go about investigating GBV cases? I mean, again, I talk to complaints that are out there that sometimes police say, firstly, there isn't enough evidence, or they simply don't even believe the victim.
Leanne, you have to remember that there are two parts within the domestic violence. One is a civil matter whereby there is no crime yet committed, whereby it's a threat. Then the victim have to be advised to obtain an interdict, which is a court order that must be served to the perpetrator or to the so-called suspect by the police to prevent him from continuing with his misconduct. Then thereafter, if the crime has been committed and has been reported to the police, either physical or sexual, that steps must be taken, a case must be opened. There's no way that a victim must be sent back. I have intervened in the previous weeks on matters of same nature whereby the threat was there and the suspects were in possession of licensed firearms, where I have had them to be arrested and those firearms seized from those perpetrators, which is also part of proactive and also disarming those perpetrators.
Yeah. What, in the SAPS's perspective, constitutes a GBV case for you?
Come again, I beg your pardon, Leanne?
If somebody comes to you and reports an incident, perhaps we can get an understanding what for the police constitutes a gender-based violence case.
Any threat that has been reported by a complainant, or maybe any other member of the family that is suspecting that the particular woman is under threat, either not yet action of any physical or sexual or economic abuse for that nature, that matter is brought to the police. The police have to advise the complainant or the person reporting that there should be an interdict that must be applied for at the court, nearest court, so that it can be served on a perpetrator to curb that kind of behavior by the perpetrator before it becomes physical.
Because that's, you know, it's a big situation when you're seeing cases of women literally being, as we saw with Bheki Cele, being stabbed, 8 months pregnant, hanging in a tree. These crimes are horrendous. And, you know, the police ministry are saying that gender-based violence is a societal problem. Perhaps you can help us a little bit more in terms of the role that the police can actually come in and help with regard to a societal problem.
Well, within our own programs in the Southern Police Service, we have the social crime prevention programs whereby we go to schools, whereby we go to communities and also address the issues of advising women what are the symptoms of GBV, what are the symptoms of domestic violence, what can they do to protect themselves. It is important for us to have our community educated on their rights in terms of what can they have in terms of the legislations to protect them. We also have the family violence, child and sexual offences units that also go to schools and also talk about the symptoms of child abuse and women abuse and also the procedure that need to be followed. Those are the proactive measures that the SAPS have in place. But we are saying that is not enough. We need to partner more with the community because these issues are psychosocial issues, social ills within the families. How the boy-child is being raised, how being cultured is also very critical. To say the parenting also within those spaces should take place in a proper manner.
Yeah. Yesterday, I know I mentioned the case, but the gender-based violence case yesterday, a 31-year-old suspect appeared very briefly in the Roodepoort Magistrates Court in connection with the murder of Bheki Cele. He'll be appearing in camera from the Krugersdorp prison on the 24th of June. I believe that there could be a second suspect that may be arrested soon. Perhaps you can talk to us about that, and also what led to the arrest of the suspect who was killed. Was there evidence that was presented to the police?
Well, as you know, that we don't arrest to investigate. We investigate to arrest. When we happen to arrest a person, that means we have evidence on a prima facie case that we are investigating that lead us to that problem person. On this matter that is on place now that you're asking for, I will request not to discuss it more because it's still sub judice case under investigation. As you know, that the certain suspect might also be apprehended. I don't want to jeopardize the case before it goes for bail application. Of course, as SAPS, we will put in place the bail defense strategy in opposing bail for the suspect to get bail.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people also asking about this case because Bheki Cele was pregnant at the time. Is this a double homicide?
Well, we will present it to the prosecution the crafting of charges are drafted by NPA. When we present the case with the facts, it's for them to decide on what charge can they charge this person. But we know that already that we have evidence that the woman that was murdered was pregnant. It means there are two lives in that person.
Just finally, as I let you go, because I do know that we have so many of these cases, but Evelyn de Kock, another gender-based violence victim, her family have said that they always disapproved of her relationship with her boyfriend, who is the suspect, who is now wanted in connection with her murder at Eersterus in Pretoria. De Kock was found in her home. She was stabbed to death. This particular investigation, any updates on this?
Well, matters that are in court, Elian, it is safe not to discuss them on the media. As you know, that at the end of the day, we will be also going for trial at some stage. I don't want to preempt the trial itself. I don't want to run the trial on the media because the matter, it is sub judice. The matter is under investigation. We will be working day and night to find all the necessary evidence that needed to prove the case against the perpetrator.
Okay, we'll leave it there then. Thanks so much for talking to us now. Major General Bafana Linda, he's the head of the Family Violence, Child Protection and Sexual Offences Investigating Office at the SAPS. We take a break.